The ending of My Hero Academia left fans divided, and sadly, this problem isn't unique to anime. What is unique is my plotting framework and knowledge of storytelling, with which I'll show you not only why these stories go wrong, but how to avoid failure in your own stories. Before we dive in, a quick spoiler warning. To fully explore what went wrong with My Hero Academia's ending, and the broader storytelling lessons, I'll need to discuss specific plot points from the finale. If you're not caught up, now's your chance to step away. Alright, let's get into it. At the end of My Hero Academia, the story wraps up with an epilogue after an 8-year time skip. We see Izuku Deku Midoriya working as a teacher at UA High School, a big shift from his earlier role as the inheritor of One for All and a rising star among heroes. It's revealed that Deku has lost his One for All powers permanently. Despite this, he remains dedicated to training the next generation of heroes. All Might plays a symbolic role in this conclusion, gifting Deku a special suit that allows him to rejoin his former classmates in one final heroic effort, hinting at his continued contributions even without his once great abilities. This ending sparked mixed reactions, and it's easy to see why. For many, it felt like a letdown. Deku's connection to One for All symbolizes his growth, perseverance, and destiny as a hero. While the story explained how he lost his powers, the epilogue's abruptness left fans feeling like the payoff to his journey was incomplete. They wanted to see him fully embrace the mantle of the ultimate hero or pass the torch in a way that felt more meaningful and satisfying. Instead, the conclusion left his arc feeling unfulfilled. The time skip compounded the issue. While time skips can offer meaningful glimpses into a character's future, this one skipped over crucial developments, how Deku adapted and changed after losing One for All. Without this context, his role as a teacher felt disconnected from the dream we followed throughout the series. It wasn't just about the job, it was about the emotional investment we had in Deku's journey. In short, the ending doesn't fulfill the story's promise. Now, I've talked about this concept before, the premise and the promise. For those unfamiliar, here's a quick recap. The premise is the what if that hooks your audience. It's the core idea of your story. For example, what if a powerless boy dreams of becoming the greatest hero in a world where superpowers are the norm? That's the premise of My Hero Academia. The promise is what the audience expects from the premise. It's the experience you're delivering. An uplifting underdog story, a gritty drama, a lighthearted adventure. The promise ties directly to genre, tone, and emotional payoff. It's what your audience signs up for when they commit to your story. Delivering on that promise is what makes an ending feel satisfying. So, did My Hero Academia deliver on its promise? Yes and no. To understand why, we need to dig deeper into both the universal story conflict and the psychological journey of Deku's character. These are the keys to understanding where the story succeeds and where it stumbles. The primary conflict of My Hero Academia isn't just about defeating villains like Shigaraki or All for One. Those conflicts are important, but secondary. The primary conflict is Deku's quest to become the #1 hero, not for fame, but as a transformation from powerless to extraordinary. The story is, at its heart, an epic transformation. An epic transformation demands a payoff. The protagonist either achieves their goal or falls short in a way that's meaningful. From the start, Deku framed this as a success story. He tells us, "This is the story of how I became the greatest hero." But at the end, that promise isn't fully realized. Deku doesn't achieve the title of #1 hero or gain the recognition his journey built towards. Instead, characters like Bakugo and Shoto take the spotlight, overshadowing Deku's contributions. The time skip drives this home. While all the other characters thrive as heroes, Deku's future feels underwhelming. His role as a teacher is admirable, but it's not the dream we followed for hundreds of chapters. The transformation into the world's greatest hero feels incomplete. Now, I know some of you might argue, hero work isn't about titles, and the series makes that clear. I agree. But here's where I think the ending needed one critical tweak to stick the landing. Deku's final act, giving up his dream to protect others, should paradoxically solidify his dream. It should be the moment where the world recognizes him as the greatest hero. Imagine this, a hero ranking that places Deku at #1, not just for his power, but for his sacrifice and impact. Or a statue, not just of All Might, but of Deku standing beside him, symbolizing their shared legacy. Even the special suit Deku receives could feel more impactful if framed as a tribute from those he inspired. These tweaks wouldn't change the core of the ending, but they make it more resonant and aligned with the story's promise. Ultimately, the lesson here is simple. Consider the promise inherent to your story's premise and primary conflict. Delivering on that promise is what turns an ending into a satisfying conclusion. So, how can you ensure that your story delivers? Here's the process I'd follow. 1. Identify the primary conflict. Determine the central struggle of your story by using the framework of the 8 universal story structures. Determine the central struggle of your story by using the framework of the 8 universal story problems. This is the foundation for shaping the promise of your narrative. 2. Identify the psychological journey. Choose one of the 11 psychological journeys to define how your protagonist will grow or change throughout the story. This helps create emotional resonance. 3. Connect both to the culmination. Ensure the primary conflict and psychological journey are shaping the ending in a way that fulfills the story's promise. 4. Refine your ending. Use the criteria from step 1 to 3 to shape or evaluate your conclusion. Does it feel emotionally satisfying? Does it resolve the key conflict? Does it fulfill the promise of the premise? These steps form the backbone of my storytelling framework and can help you avoid the pitfalls of an unsatisfying ending. But that's just my take. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about my innovative plotting framework for using the 8 universal story problems, download the free PDF in the description. It'll open your eyes to a whole new way of approaching plotting.